Hey everybody, Jason Buff here, and we're going to have fun today with a really cool disintegration technique in Photoshop. Now, I'm sure you've seen these all over YouTube and all over the place, and they're very popular. And they were actually a lot more popular, I think, probably back in 2014. And I've seen a bunch of tutorials, and they're all pretty good, and there's some varying degrees of, people have had varying degrees of success putting together a disintegration portrait like this. And I want to go through it and talk a little bit about what works, what doesn't work with this technique, and how we can create it with our own pictures. Now, one thing to remember with everything in Photoshop, your style is going to come through. So you might look at what I'm doing and you're eventually going to take what I'm showing you here and you're going to adapt it to your own artistic sensibility or whatever. But I find that this is a really good technique to have kind of in your arsenal when you go to a client. And you can, when you show people something like this, it's really easy to do. It just takes a little bit of time, but I'll give you an example. I just showed some people, I posted this on Facebook and mentioned that I was doing a tutorial, and people were like, oh man, that looks awesome, and it's actually a really simple technique to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by just going through this file that I have here. And whenever I'm doing a tutorial, I never, I start out with something that I've already done, and then I go back through it and show you how I did it. So basically, here's all my files. I'm just going to click through and you can start seeing it come apart, basically. Okay, so here we go. These are all our adjustment layers. Here's a layer I tried to use. I didn't really like it, so that was actually off. Here, if you watch the eyes are going to go back to the way they were. A random particle image that I put just overlaid on top of this. Here's the cracks in the face that I added just to give it a little oomph. Here is our main layer that has the particles that are over here that are an extension of the face. You can see that we've liquefied his face over here, so we'll go through that in just a second. And then here's our background image. Here's where everything started. And I put this into a folder just so I could have this image with the alpha channel, and I wasn't going to knock it out. I wasn't going to apply this to the picture. I just wanted to leave it the way it was, and I put it in a folder, and then I applied the alpha channel to the folder. Okay, so let's turn this off. I'm right clicking and I'm going to say disable layer mask. There we go. And of course I just put I created a alpha channel for this guy. So let's turn that off, disable layer mask. And here we go. This was the original image that I started with. Now, if you want to have this image, I'm going to send a link to it, or if I can, I'm going to just give you a copy of it in the files.